Join us today for a quick update on an assortment of Catalyst BattleTech products. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before, and welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. Today we're going to be talking, kind of updating some folks on where things stand with some BattleTech products.
We have mentioned before, like where to go after you start looking into it. This is a good place to start.
Yeah, the big product I'm going to be talking about here in a moment is definitely a place to start. For those of you who haven't seen them yet, this product should now be available. This is the newer version of the beginner box. We did an unboxing of it and a comparison to the old one. The main difference is the one mech and some cards. But this should be the one at retail now, through your local gaming store, Barnes and Noble, or online through various channels like Cool Stuff and Miniature Market, or from directly from Catalyst. So, to that end, there is a service called Humble Bundle, which I'm going to assume, since you're on the internet, you have probably heard of. I will try to post a link in the description. But at the moment, for if you pay at least $30, there's a tremendous BattleTech bundle on there. And I'm going to go through the contents here. Now, I know part of this is restricted because part of this is a copy of this set, which means there's some kind of restrictions as to which countries they can send them to and which ones they can't. So definitely verify that before you try to order it if you're outside the United States. So, so like I said, it's $30, at least $30, and you get this. The way Humble Bundle works is it's for charity, so you can give however much you want, but as long as you give at least 30, this is what you're going to get. And this retails for 25.
Yeah.
So theoretically, the rest of this for $5, I think, plus shipping for this. But the rest of these are digital products. So you have PDFs of Arcade Operations, which was I don't think it was an April Fool's, might have been Halloween, but basically it's like playing a mech video game, but like real rules for it and stuff. Combat Manual Kirita, that was an Alpha Strike book. They started the series, and they only got to Kirita and the Mercenaries before they canceled the series. They are going to be updating it soon, though. Soon. Starting with House Davian. But this is the combat manual for that. Spotlight on the Crescent Hawks. That would be the Crescent Hawks in, I believe, the Free Worlds League. Spotlight On is one of their series where they point the spotlight on a faction or event or something. The book Empire Alone, which we're going to get around to doing a review of that once I finish reading it. But this is an Ill Clan era book, so it explains what's happening in the area that was the Wolf Empire. Now that the Wolves have pretty well vacated to take Terra. So this follows people in the Free Worlds League, and I believe the other side of House Steiner and some other folks. So that's what that book is about, and that book follows Tamar Rising, which is also available here, which shows what happens to the former Clan Jade Falcon occupation zone, which is between House Steiner, the Ghost Bear Dominion, the Hell's Horses, and House Kirita, maybe?
Yeah.
And shows what's happening over there. Also included is the Ill Clan book, which breaks down the battle for Terra. And Shattered Fortress, which is the essentially first half of that book, which is the setting the stage for the battle for Terra, and also some of the events leading up to it, as Stone tries to get the Republic ready for the big fight, and you see him dishing out favors, trying to blunt the Capellan assault on one front, and to convince House Davian to help him. So he tries to help them against House Kirita and a bunch of shenanigans. Era Report 3145, a breakdown of what's going on in 3145, which is approximately 6 years before the Battle for Terra. So this is the late Dark Age era. Field Manual 3145. Again, I personally don't own any of the Field Manual books yet, because I'm going to back this probably today. And it's kind of here's what's going on in 3145. Then we have some turning points, like Turning Points Irian. Now this one is one that if you played the Clicky Tech game, you know what this was. There was a big tournament. I'm going to have to assume that this is what it's for, based on the cover art and the name. But in the Clicky Tech game, there was a big tournament at one point where people reported in. You had to declare which faction you were fighting for. And the faction that won the most games, like across the country, or world, I think is the country, got to claim the planet Irian. Irian had a battle mech factory that was producing Marauder 2s. And so the faction that won was the first faction to get a Marauder 2. And so the reason I'm pretty sure this is what this is because, again, it was Irian, and two, this has the faction symbols for the Clicky Tech era of the game. So, like Banson's Raiders, the Northwind Highlanders, the Spirit Cats, the Steel Wolves, the Stormhammers, the Republic, the Swordsworn, and the Dragon's Fury. So I'm relatively certain that's what this is. So, and it's a turning point. It's a major moment in the Dark Age era. Then you have your historical turning points, which are more distant in the past. This one's Misery, and the symbols on the front of Draconis Combine and Wolf's Dragoons. I don't know for sure, but this is, if I had to guess, when the Dragon's Fury turned on the Wolf's Dragoons. And I don't remember if that was part of the whole, like, death to all mercenaries moment that they had of insanity, but could have been. My history's a little weak right in there, so... also turning point, Tierfing, and looks like everybody was involved in this one. So I can only assume this is a planet somewhere close to Earth, because all 5 of the houses are involved in this battle. And that could only be somewhere in the Terran hegemony, I would think. But I could be wrong. The supplemental to the Battle of Tukiad book, along with the Battle of Tukiad book, and this would be the one that just came out here in the last year or so. And, of course, the Battle of Tukiad is where the clans found out that if you don't pay your phone bills, Comstar will come to collect. Apparently with a one-eyed Steiner at the head of the snake. So, yeah.
And a Black Knight that's painted white.
Yeah, the Comstar mechs are all painted white. So, the Total Chaos book, which is another play style. I personally don't know much about it other than it's a play style.
I thought it was that book by the title would be a crossover with Warhammer 40k.
No. But some of the other books come with Total Chaos rules for how to play out encounters. So it's another way to play out the games. But this is the main book for that. The combat manual for the mercenaries, again, like the Kirita one. This was for the old Alpha Strike. This was for old Alpha Strike. Alpha Strike's still continuing. This was for Alpha Strike originally. A lot of what's in these 2 books, as I understand it, did get integrated into the Commander's edition of the Alpha Strike rulebook. But also this has to deal with like formations and things like that, I believe. I didn't buy them because they discontinued them, and I didn't want to buy a dead-end book. But since they're going to be continuing them, and this one and the Kirita one are kind of going to be reshaped into their new versions soon. But again, Davian's going to be the first one. Hopefully we'll at least see the 5 houses and mercenaries. The House Arano book, which this is the one for the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech game.
Nice.
This is the other house. So
it's one of the minor houses that we know about.
Yeah. The BattleTech Legends book. This is it shows legendary battle mechs and their pilots. It kind of tells you their stories. So this will have people like, I'm assuming Victor Steiner Davian's in this book. I don't see any way he's not. I'm assuming Kai Elard Lau is in here. I know for a fact Nikolai Malthus is in here. This is where you find the sad, sad ending to his tale, where he just gets caught up in the Lyrian court system trying to sue them to stop making the cartoon. He looks pretty rough in his picture too, by the way. Remember, kids, neural implants, not even once. Let's see. Touring the Stars, Tierfing. This is another series they have. They pick a lot of planets that are just kind of out of the way, that they're just names on the map for half of them. I don't know if they've ever gotten to Bob or not. And yes, there's a planet just called Bob. Let's see, a couple of technical readouts.
Wow. Titan AE throwback.
The one for the clan invasion is included. The technical readout for the Succession Wars is included. So that's those two combined. Those are a lot of the core battle mechs for the series. So you get new ones as the timeline progresses, but those are the well-known ones. Chaos Campaign Succession Wars book is included. So if you read the Chaos rules and you like those, here's how to play out the Succession Wars. Total Warfare, which is the rule book. If you want to go beyond what's in this and the game of Armored Combat, this is the rule book that you need. So all this other stuff is great, but just think, $25 what this would cost you in a store. For $5 more, you get the normally $60 rule book. Yeah, it's the PDF, but you young folks don't like books anyway, so everything digital. The older folks, we all know you already own 5 copies of it with different spines on it, so
What's one more that's digital?
I actually don't own any copies of it, surprisingly. The first of the Ill Clan Recognition Guides. This is a project that Catalyst is undertaking, where they took the battle mechs from the Clan Invasion Kickstarter and then made new versions of them for 3151 with updated technology and weapons, so they're still viable into the Ill Clan era. So this is volume 1 of a lot. And right now they've started another round of them to get ahead of them for the Mercenaries Kickstarter. So the Alpha Strike Commander's Edition rulebook. So again, if you're going to go Alpha Strike, $25 box set, $5 for the main rulebook.
And a bunch of other stuff.
Plus all the other stuff. The Battle Mech Manual, which that's kind of like a stripped down Total Warfare if you just want the Battle Mech rules. So again, this one will be like a $40 book. So $30 for $40 book, $25 starter set, bunch of other stuff. And then the primer, which I'm pretty sure that comes for free in the bigger box. Yeah, because this is just a little rinky-dink one. So that one's kind of it's nice, but you can get it for free somewhere else anyway, I'm sure. So, to answer a potential question, no, we're not getting any kind of commission off this or anything.
We're just figuring you guys might like to hear about this. Yeah, there might be some books here you don't have if you play already, and if you're just trying to start out, $35, $30, whatever, you get all this in the beginner box.
Yeah. And that's we get a lot of questions of the variety of okay, I bought this, now what? Well, that's not a bad answer to a lot of those questions right there. And like I said, I'm going to put a link down in the description. So this is out. The Alpha Strike box set, which you've hopefully seen our video of. If not, there'll be a link to it either up here or at the end, kind of in here somewhere, but it'll be here somewhere. That is supposed to be out before the end of the year. They don't have a definitive date nailed down, but I do believe, if I understood the last update correctly, They changed the way they normally do things. Normally, the distribution center has a release date, and they've changed it to when you get it, ship it. So, could be any time now, but I would look like I'd start really looking at the around the end of this month.
That is a weird policy to have.
What's that?
Telling the distribution center if you have it, ship it.
Yeah, well, because they wanted it out before Christmas, so they don't
understandable.
So they don't want to be like, okay, well, make sure this ship this on November 25th, and like, well, we would, but that's Thanksgiving. I don't know for a fact it is, but right around there will be, and so then it ends up going out like December 10th, and then it takes time to move, and by that point the East Coast is running out of diesel fuel, which apparently might happen in the very near future, and then nothing moves anywhere, and then they're just stuck in a warehouse until like March. So yeah, that's why they're like, nope, as soon as you get it, send it out. So keep an eye out because those will probably fly off the shelves based on the interest level on those.
So it seems.
So you have those. I mentioned the new recognition guides. The novels keep chugging forward. There's supposed to be another book along the lines of the Tamar Rising and the other book that I mentioned just now that I've already forgotten the names of. Uh, Empire Alone, was that it?
I don't know.
I think it was. We're going to say it was. The next one is Dominions Divided, which sounds like it's going to be dealing with Kirita and the Ghost Bears. And that is also on a to be determined, but should be the next few-ish months. And then there should be one more book after that will update everything to the Illo Clan era, supposedly.
And then we need one for the Pentagon worlds.
Well, that's probably a ways off.
Even if it's just literally a flyer saying, here be dust.
Yeah.
Well, here be radioactive dust.
So then in March is when the next Kickstarter is supposed to launch.
Because it got pushed back.
Yeah. And I think that was a wise move.
Yes.
And we're waiting on an update from Iron Wind Metals because we haven't gotten one in a while. There's several mechs that were on the list of this should be out soon. I'm personally really hoping that the Raider finally makes it out.
I'm hoping for that dump truck mech.
Oh, that's going to be a while. They'll probably take crowdfunding for it and then make it.
Yeah.
And like the Raider, the crowdfunding went through like a year and a half ago. Like everyone's like, hey, where's the Raider? So, because usually it's not this long of a turnaround. So presumably something is up. But mum's the word thus far.
But yeah, every so often Ironwind Metals like, hey, what do you guys want next?
Yeah.
And whatever has the most interest, they will start to try to make.
Yeah. For those of you interested in that kind of thing, or to just want to keep up on the metal miniatures, on the Catalyst BattleTech message board, if you scroll down, there is a section for Ironwind Metals, and within that is a crowdfunding section. And that's where they take, usually on an annual basis, they'll vote for mechs, vehicles, infantry, and then from those they'll pick a few winners, and then they'll do crowdfunding campaigns for them. Now, most of the time, they only need somewhere between like $500 and $800. I don't think I've ever seen one fail. And the deal is say you put $100 towards it, well, you're gonna get $100 in store credit. Doesn't even have to go to that thing. Okay, it's just you're putting your money up, saying, "Hey, I want this made." You're showing the interest. They're like, "All right, well, we'll make them," because the whole the metal miniatures are similar to the plastic miniatures in that first one cost you a lot. All the others after that cost you pennies. So, yeah. But yeah, so right now the Raider was one that was crowdfunded, and that we're still waiting on. That's the ICE mech that Jacob Banson had designed. So I want them to help kind of flush out, like, well, raiders and pirates and
unaffiliated factions.
well, unaffiliated factions, but garrisons. That's what I was trying to think of. Planetary defense forces, things like that. So people that are going to be looking for cheap, like mercenaries, are like, well, I could buy one fusion-powered mech, or I could buy two of these things, which is the same kind of math that results in eventually like, or I can buy 20 Scorpion tanks. Surely to God, one of those shots is going to hit and bring down that enemy mech.
Or 40 howitzers.
Yeah.
Because howitzers, very few moving parts.
Yeah, so...
just lob and pray.
Yeah. And, go up against the right force at just the right time, you'll beat their mechs, and then you steal their mechs, and now you have mechs and tanks.
Free mechs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to probably pay to repair them because of you damaging them, but sure.
But you got them for free.
Right.
You just got to get parts.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, that's the real quick, here's what's going on with Catalyst right now and stuff that they've got coming out. Keep an eye out for. I don't think there's any physical products that are direct. There's a few mercenary box sets that are supposed to be going out to various people. I think the first one goes to Barnes & Noble like the Wolf's Dragoon Star did. Just don't know when. So keep an eye out. For all I know, it'll be tomorrow, but I doubt it. So anyway, that's the quick catch up on everything. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Any questions or comments, put them down there below. Check out other BattleTech stuff. If you like the video.
We do have an unboxing of this.
Yes, and the Alpha Strike box, and another kind of more in-depth on the contents of the Alpha Strike box. Spoiler alert, in our opinion, definitely worth the money.
Yes.
Then, so, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff.
Share
around, or not. I mean, it's up to you. I can't force you to do it.
And if you thumbs down us, let us know why.
Yeah, that is one thing I would ask, that I try to ask. I can't stop you from doing a thumbs down. Plus, if there's something legitimately wrong, that's how you communicate it to us. But please,
let us know.
Let us know what it actually is. Because if it's something we can fix, we will try to fix it. Unless you're like, it's your ugly faces. Like, well, you're stuck.
I ain't fixing that.
You're stuck.
I don't got that money.
You're stuck with that. So, but anything other than that, we're at least open to suggestions. So,
yep.
So anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and we will catch you later.